The courtroom froze as Dash lunged forward, his furious growl breaking the silence. His teeth tearing into the sleeve of Officer John's uniform, exposing the blood-stained scar beneath. Lucas's fate unraveled with one dog's vengeance. Welcome back to life in stories, my wonderful family and friends. Do tell us where you are watching from as you get your popcorn ready as you watch this story that will ever change your thoughts towards animals. Lucas was a man of simple pleasures, the kind of man who loved deeply and lived quietly. He worked a steady job at a small auto repair shop and never asked for much more than an evening walk with Dash, his loyal German shepherd, and the warmth of Lucy's smile when she met him at the cafe across the street. Life was not glamorous, but to Lucas it was perfect. He had his love, his companion, and a sense of peace in a world that often felt too noisy and cruel. Lucy was the light in his life, bright, tender, and fiercely independent. They had been together for 2 years, and though they weren't married, Lucas already thought of her as his wife. She had a way of making even ordinary moments feel extraordinary. A quiet dinner, a movie night, or simply sitting on the porch while Dash curled at their feet. But where there is light, there is often shadow. And their shadow came in the form of Officer John. John was a police officer in their town, well respected by many, but to those who looked closely, there was something unsettling about him. He was charismatic on the outside, yet underneath lurked envy and desire. He had seen Lucy often during his patrols and had made it no secret that he was taken with her beauty. His advances, however, were unwelcome. Lucy had told him firmly more than once that she loved Lucas, and that John should respect that boundary. But rejection is a dangerous fuel for wounded pride. One autumn evening, as the wind scattered dry leaves along the streets and the night grew colder, Lucas called Lucy. He had just finished a long shift, his hands still stained with grease, and he told her he'd be coming over soon. Lucy's voice was warm on the other end, teasing him about being late for their dinner plans. Dash, hearing her name, wagged his tail in the back seat of the car as Lucas drove toward her apartment. Neither man nor dog knew that tragedy was already waiting inside. Earlier that evening, John had arrived at Lucy's apartment uninvited. His presence was commanding, the kind that could not easily be ignored, but Lucy had tried. She stood her ground, demanding that he leave. Their argument escalated, her voice sharp, his tone darker and more threatening by the minute. In his frustration and rage, the line between reason and obsession blurred. And then a gunshot tore through the night, silencing Lucy forever. When Lucas arrived, Dash stayed in the car, his sharp eyes fixed on the building. Lucas walked up the stairs, his heart light with anticipation. But when he opened Lucy's door, the light in his life was extinguished. She lay on the floor, still and pale, with crimson blooming across her chest. A gun rested near her hand, as if cruelly staged. Lucas dropped to his knees, his breath ragged, his shaking hands reaching for her. He could not process it, could not believe that the warmth he had felt minutes ago over the phone was now gone. He grabbed the gun almost instinctively, looking wildly toward the door, desperate to find the monster who had done this. Meanwhile, Dash, waiting in the car, growled low as his sharp gaze caught sight of a figure slipping into the night. Officer John. His uniform was disheveled, his shirt stained with a dark smear of blood. To the loyal dog, the memory seared itself deep. This was the man who had hurt the one Lucas loved. But before Dash could act, neighbors had already called the police after hearing the gunshot. And when they arrived, they saw Lucas clutching the weapon, kneeling beside Lucy's lifeless body. To them, the story was clear. Within hours, he was arrested, accused, and thrown into a nightmare he could not wake from. Lucas shouted his innocence, but the evidence was stacked cruelly against him. The case moved swiftly, too swiftly, and the shadow of Officer John loomed silently over the proceedings. John played his role with chilling perfection. The grieving officer, the voice of reason, the man who claimed he had rushed to the scene only to see Lucas with the weapon in hand. His testimony sealed Lucas's fate. The verdict was death. Lucas's world crumbled. He had lost Lucy, his freedom, and his very future, all for a crime he did not commit. The only light that remained was Dash, the loyal companion who had never left his side. When offered a final wish before his sentence, Lucas had only one request: to see his dog. On the day of his execution, the prison was quiet. Lucas, shackled and weary, waited in the visiting yard. His heart raced as Dash was led in. The German shepherd's tail wagged furiously, his eyes shining with recognition and love. For the first time in months, Lucas felt a flicker of peace as he buried his face into the thick fur of his dog. But peace quickly gave way to chaos. Officer John entered the yard to oversee the meeting. He walked in with his usual arrogance, the weight of his secret safely hidden, or so he thought.
What is going on here?
But Dash froze the moment he saw John. His body stiffened, his ears shot back, and a low guttural growl rolled from his chest. The courtroom froze as Dash lunged forward, his furious growl breaking the silence. His teeth tearing into the sleeve of Officer John's uniform, exposing the blood-stained scar beneath. Lucas's fate unraveled with one dog's vengeance. Gasps filled the room. Guards rushed to pull Dash away, but not before the torn sleeve revealed a wound, healed but unmistakable, a bullet graze from that night. Under questioning, inconsistencies in John's story began to unravel. Forensics followed, and soon the truth could no longer be buried. It was John who had murdered Lucy. His obsession, his rage, his arrogance, everything had led to that night, and everything had pointed falsely to Lucas. The betrayal was too deep for words, but justice, however delayed, was finally served. Lucas was freed. The weight of death lifted from his shoulders. Dash had not only been his companion but his savior, the one witness who could not be silenced or deceived. The bond between man and dog had become the key to truth. Still, freedom came at a heavy cost. Lucy was gone, her laughter and warmth silenced forever. Lucas carried that grief with him, a scar deeper than any wound. Yet, as he stood in the sunlight outside the prison gates, Dash at his side, he whispered a promise: to honor Lucy's memory by living, by loving, and by never forgetting the dog who saved his life. The world moved on, but Lucas never looked at life the same way again. He had stared into the abyss of injustice, and only loyalty had pulled him back. Dash trotted beside him, no longer just a companion but the truest guardian of his soul. And though Lucas's heart would never be whole again, he knew one thing with certainty. Love, whether human or canine, was the most powerful force in the world. It could expose lies, shatter chains, and even in the face of death, it could set a man free. Do you have a dog just like Dash, or would you like to have one? Share your thoughts with me in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe.